What would you sacrifice to save the people you love long before Nigeria became a nation, long before the rise of mighty kingdoms across West Africa? The people of Ile-Ife lived under a terror they could neither understand nor defeat. Night after night, strange creatures emerged from the forest. They looked like spirits. They moved like demons. And wherever they appeared, fear followed. Warriors could not stop them. Elders could not explain them. An entire kingdom trembled before a mystery. Then one woman dared to do what no warrior had done. She walked willingly into the enemy's hands. Her name was Moremi, and her courage would save a kingdom. But the price she paid would echo through history forever. This is the story of Moremi Ajasoro, the woman who saved her people. Welcome to Moonlight Tales Africa, a place where African stories come alive beneath the moonlight. Stories filled with wisdom, culture, emotion, humanity, and transformation. Here, we journey through the heart of Africa, through village paths, moonlit memories, forgotten truths, silent struggles, and the powerful lessons hidden inside ordinary lives. So, wherever you are listening from, sit close, relax, and journey with me. Sit close to the fire. The elders are about to speak. This is Moonlight Tales Africa.
Before we begin today's story, kindly subscribe and become part of this growing circle of African history, wisdom, culture, and moonlight tales. Sit close to the fire. The elders are about to continue their story.
Moremi Ajasoro, the woman who saved the kingdom, the mystery. Long before Nigeria became a nation, long before colonial maps divided the lands of Africa, there stood a magnificent city known as Ile-Ife, a city of skilled craftsmen, a city of wise kings, a city many believed was blessed by the gods themselves. Its markets were full, its farms were rich, its people lived in peace. But peace is often most precious just before it is threatened. For one season, a strange terror emerged from the forest surrounding the kingdom. No one knew where it came from. No one understood what it wanted. All they knew was fear. Without warning, mysterious raiders would appear from the darkness. They came dressed in towering raffia costumes, their faces hidden behind terrifying masks. In the moonlight, they did not look human. They looked like spirits, demons, creatures from another world. The people screamed and fled whenever they appeared. Warriors who had once fought bravely stood frozen with fear. Villages were attacked, homes were burned, families were scattered. Again and again, the strange invaders struck, and each time they vanished back into the forest before anyone could stop them. The people of Ile-Ife were desperate. The elders gathered, the chiefs debated, the warriors sharpened their weapons, yet nobody had an answer. Who were these creatures? Where did they come from? And why did they seem impossible to defeat? As fear spread across the kingdom, one woman watched carefully. Her name was Moremi. Moremi was known throughout the land for her wisdom, courage, and calm spirit. While others saw monsters, Moremi saw a mystery waiting to be solved. She listened to the stories. She studied the attacks. She observed what others ignored. And the more she listened, the more convinced she became that something was not right. One evening, as the people gathered once again to discuss their troubles, Moremi made a decision. A dangerous decision. A decision that would change the history of Ile-Ife forever. Under the cover of night, she walked alone to the sacred river. The moon reflected upon the water like silver. The forest was silent. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. There, beside the river, Moremi knelt. With a humble heart, she offered a prayer. She called upon the spirit of the river, and she made a promise she would one day come to regret. Help me uncover the truth behind these attacks. Help me save my people. And whatever price is required, I will pay it. The river remained silent. The moon continued to shine. But deep within her heart, Moremi knew her prayer had been heard. Days later, When the mysterious raiders attacked once again, something unexpected happened. While everyone else ran from danger, Moremi moved toward it. She did not resist. She did not fight. She allowed herself to be captured. The people watched in horror. The raiders dragged her into the forest, deeper and deeper into the darkness, toward a destination from which few had ever returned. And as the shadows swallowed her completely, no one knew whether they would ever see Moremi again. But Moremi was not afraid, because she had a plan, and she was about to discover a secret that would change everything. The secret. The forest swallowed Moremi. The sounds of Ile-Ife faded behind her. The voices of her people disappeared into the distance. Only the rustling of leaves and the footsteps of her captors remained. The strange raiders led her deeper and deeper into the wilderness. Their towering raffia costumes swayed in the darkness. Their frightening masks glowed in the torchlight. To anyone else, they looked like spirits. But Moremi forced herself to watch carefully. She had not come this far to be afraid. She had come for answers. For days, she remained among them. She listened. She observed. She waited. And then, one night, the truth finally revealed itself. The raiders gathered around a large fire in their camp. Moremi hid behind a wooden shelter, careful not to be seen. Her heart pounded in her chest. What she witnessed next changed everything. One by one, the terrifying creatures began removing their masks. Moremi stared in disbelief. The monsters had faces, human faces, ordinary men. Some laughed loudly around the fire. Others removed their raffia coverings and hung them on wooden racks. A few sat down to eat and share stories. Moremi could hardly believe her eyes. The creatures that had terrified an entire kingdom were not spirits. They were men. Men hiding behind fear. Men using mystery as a weapon. For years, the people of Ile-Ife had been fighting shadows, and now Moremi understood their greatest secret. The power of the raiders did not come from magic, it came from deception. The masks created fear. The raffia costumes created confusion, and fear had done more damage than any weapon. As she watched, another discovery caught her attention. The costumes were made almost entirely of dry raffia, light, flammable, vulnerable to fire. Suddenly, the pieces fell into place. Not only had she uncovered their identity, she had discovered their weakness. That night, Moremi knew she could not stay. The people of Ile-Ife needed this knowledge. The kingdom's survival depended on it. Under the cover of darkness, she slipped away from the camp. Every crack of a branch sounded like thunder. Every shadow seemed alive. If she was discovered, she would never leave the forest. But courage carried her forward, step by step, mile after mile, until at last the familiar lands of Ile-Ife appeared before her. The people could hardly believe what they saw. Moremi had returned, alive. The woman they thought was lost had come home. The chiefs gathered, the warriors assembled, and Moremi revealed the truth. The raiders are not spirits, she said. They are men. A stunned silence filled the gathering. For years they had feared monsters. For years they had believed they were fighting forces beyond human strength. But now the mystery had been uncovered. The monsters were men, and men could be defeated. Then Moremi revealed their weakness. Their costumes are made of dry raffia. Fire will destroy them. The chiefs exchanged glances. The warriors tightened their grip on their weapons. For the first time in many years, hope returned to Ile-Ife. The people now knew the truth. But knowing the truth and defeating the enemy were not the same thing. The raiders would soon return. And when they did, the fate of the kingdom would be decided. At once preparations began. Warriors gathered torches. Blacksmiths worked through the night. The people waited, and sure enough, the raiders returned, just as they always had, confident, fearless, certain that Ile-Ife would once again scatter before them. But this time was different. This time the people were ready. As the masked invaders charged forward, the warriors of Ile-Ife met them with flames. Torches flew through the darkness. Fire touched the raffia costumes, and suddenly the terrifying spirits began to burn. Panic erupted among the raiders. The mighty creatures who had inspired fear across the land were exposed before everyone. The masks fell, the disguises burned, the secret was revealed, and for the first time, the people saw their enemies for what they truly were. Not spirits, not demons, just men. The battle was fierce, but it did not last long. The raiders fled. The kingdom was saved. A great celebration filled Ile-Ife. Drums echoed through the streets. Songs rose into the sky. Families reunited. Children laughed once more. The people hailed Moremi as a hero, the woman whose courage had delivered an entire kingdom from fear. But while the people celebrated, Moremi remembered. She remembered the river. She remembered the promise she had made beneath the moonlight. And deep within her heart, she knew the story was not over. One evening, as silence settled upon the land, Moremi returned to the sacred river. The water was still, the moon reflected upon its surface like polished silver. Then a voice came from the darkness. The river spirit had returned. You made a promise. Moremi lowered her head. She knew the time had come. What must I give? She asked softly. The answer pierced her heart like a spear. The spirit demanded the one thing she loved most, her beloved son. Olurobu, the child she had carried, the child she had raised, the child whose laughter filled her days with joy. For a moment, the weight of the world seemed to rest upon her shoulders. She had saved a kingdom, but now she faced a pain no victory could erase. The people wept when they learned of the sacrifice. The chiefs mourned. The kingdom grieved alongside her. Yet Moremi kept her word because she understood something many people never learn. The promise is easy when it costs nothing. Character is revealed when the cost becomes painful. And so the woman who defeated fear paid the price of her courage. Years passed, generations came and went, kingdoms rose, kingdoms fell. But the story of Moremi endured, not because she was the strongest warrior, not because she commanded a great army, but because she chose the welfare of her people above her own comfort. And even today, centuries later, her name still echoes across the land. The moon has spoken. Most people think courage means standing in front of danger. But the story of Moremi teaches something deeper. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing what matters more than your fear. The people of Ile-Ife feared monsters, yet the monsters were only men hiding behind masks. And perhaps that has not changed. Even today, many of the things that rule our lives wear masks. The mask of doubt, the mask of failure, the mask of rejection, the mask of insecurity, the mask of fear itself. Like the people of Ile-Ife, we often give power to things we do not fully understand. And like Moremi, we must sometimes look behind the mask to discover the truth. But there is another lesson. Every generation enjoys freedoms that somebody else paid for. Every thriving family stands upon sacrifices that nobody sees. Every strong nation is built by men and women who chose the common good above personal comfort. That is why Moremi is remembered. Not because she was beautiful, not because she was noble, not even because she was brave. She is remembered because when history demanded a price, she was willing to pay it. And perhaps the true question her story leaves us with is this. What are we willing to sacrifice so that those who come after us may live better than we did? The moon has spoken. The lesson is yours to keep.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share so you won't miss our future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.